While today's economy may finally have turned the corner, millions of people are still affected by the recent economic downturn. Homeowners who now owe thousands more on their homes than what they're worth. People who have lost their jobs or are drowning in medical bills. Consumers riddled with credit card debt who are barely able to make even the minimum monthly payment. We have truly become a nation of debtors with little hope of digging ourselves out.
It's a big mess, there's no doubt about that. And in fact, this is really seriously the biggest economic crisis we've had since the Great Depression. And in fact, in terms of real estate values have declined faster and farther than they did during the Great Depression. So it's actually worse in that regard.
We were on cash assistance with the state. We were on food stamps. I mean, pretty much doing what we could to survive, make sure that our rent was paid so we weren't evicted.
I was overwhelmed with, credit cards and just a number of things I could not pay back. I simply couldn't pay it.
It was bad. We were selling a lot of things, going through things that, we were just trying to figure out what we really needed, what we didn't need. We had lots of garage sales.
These people aren't alone. Today, millions of Americans face the same dilemma and have run out of creative ways to make ends meet. Unfortunately, aggressive creditors, banks, and so-called credit counselors have been taking advantage of the average person's lack of education on financial issues. Debt consolidations have resulted in driving consumers further into debt, and while many people have tried to modify their mortgages, over 90% of the time, the mortgage company will not work with them.
Even the statistics put out by the banks say that 90% of the time, they basically do nothing helpful to the homeowner. That means 9 out of 10 of the mortgage modifications that people attempt don't go through, or they go through with very limited impact. I've seen people come into my office and they've actually had their mortgage payment go up after they do a mortgage modification.
There are steps, however, that people can take to control their finances rather than letting their finances control them. There are numerous resources and tools available to help anyone manage their finances, and one of those tools is bankruptcy. While bankruptcy should be the last option, it is not something that should be avoided when the need arises. Rather, it's a valuable tool for starting over.
There's been a lot of PR out there over the years that really has been put out by the banks in an effort to try to scare people away from bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is not failure. Bankruptcy is a process. It's a process by which you can go from being in a financial crisis to getting a fresh start or getting your debts reorganized to a point where you are able to afford them. That's really what bankruptcy is all about.
As founder of the website MyEasy7.com and a bankruptcy and debtor-creditor attorney, Mike Greiner is at the front line of helping people manage their finances in this current economic crisis. As the author of Bankruptcy 101, a guide to filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy without an attorney, Greiner believes that for many people, it's the only alternative and the right choice for their circumstances. That's why the bankruptcy option exists.
Unfortunately, it's been painted a lot of the time that bankruptcy is failure, and the truth is, they say that only 1 out of 7 people who should file bankruptcy actually go forward with filing bankruptcy. So the ones, in my opinion, who are the ones who file bankruptcy are the ones who are responsible. The ones who say, this is not a situation that we can sustain any longer. We can't take care of our family with this kind of debt. We can't take care of our children with garnishments and with our home being foreclosed on and that type of thing. And pretty much the only way to really adjudicate these issues is through the bankruptcy court. And that's really what bankruptcy is all about.
Brock and Melanie Potvin are prime examples of how bankruptcy can help a family start over again. Saddled with crushing debt from medical bills, the Potvins were able to take control of their finances by doing research on the web and filing for bankruptcy by themselves to address their financial problems.
It really was just like a situation, even if I got a job, how are we ever going to pay this debt off? How are we ever going to get under this to be able to one day buy our own house, not be renters the rest of our lives, not be able to buy another car? I mean, it was just a situation where if we wanted to have anything in life again, after we got through this hard, difficult situation, we were going to have to find some type of relief. The website seemed like it was the most logical way because we didn't have the funds to be able to hire an attorney to handle our case in full. There was no reason I felt we couldn't get through it as long as we just followed the steps, and that's pretty much how easy it was. It was just following the book, the advice in the book, and then going through the website.
That was probably the easiest thing for us to do, was to sit down and do it, because at that point we were finally finding some peace.
The sad truth is I've seen where people come into bankruptcy court representing themselves, and oftentimes it didn't turn out well just because of the fact that they didn't know the steps to the process. They didn't know the pitfalls to be aware of. And that's what prompted me to write this book and to set up the website to kind of guide people through this process.
We've learned from our past mistakes. We have an opportunity that, you know, everybody has the right to take advantage of if they're in a situation like us. And we basically took that route. I mean, we really took advantage of what the government gives you as far as a fresh start, and made the best decision not only for us but our kids' future as well. I mean, how can you give your kids a legacy if you have nothing yourself?
Nobody was really proud of it, but we know that it was the best thing for us, and it was the best thing for our family. And that's what I'm proud of, is that we took that initiative, because there's a lot of people out there these days that just kind of float through life. And we've decided that we didn't want that. We didn't want to just float through life. We wanted to make something for ourselves and for our kids. And we took that step, even though it's terrifying to do. It was what was necessary.
I don't want to ever be in that situation again. I try to pay things timely. I try not to, I don't want debt, is the bottom line. And for me, it's made me think about that.
There is relief from crushing debt, and the solution lies in taking control of your own finances. With the right financial tools and knowledge, freedom from debt can be a reality.
Bankruptcy is a solution to the problem that a lot of people have right now. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who either are afraid of it or believe that it represents failure, when the truth is it's not failure, it's just an opportunity to kind of help get yourself back on track.
Millions of people have been negatively affected by one of the most devastating economic downturns on record. But you can get started on resolving your debt today by filing bankruptcy on your own with no legal fees through MyEasy7.com.
It's really an effort to try to help people file bankruptcy on their own, to know the process that they're able to go through to get it done in an affordable manner.
MyEasy7.com will guide you through the qualification process for bankruptcy. See if you qualify for free.
It is an easier way for you to be able to get a fresh start. It really is. It is just the simplest way. It's the less stressful way. And financially, if you can't afford an attorney, then it's the best route to go.
Filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy has never been more easy, discreet, or convenient than with MyEasy7.com. If you qualify, the $199 service charge includes your credit report, completed legal forms valid in all 50 states, and a free copy of Bankruptcy 101. Take the need for an attorney out of the equation. MyEasy7.com is the answer to financial freedom. For more information, visit MyEasy7.com.